Welcome back to Crawling with Dungeons. I'm Rob, and with me today is my wife, Sandra.
Hello.
And we are doing an unboxing video for Shadows of Brimstone. What we've got today is the Shadows of Brimstone Hero Pack, the Norse Dwarf. So, let's take a look at the art, like we normally do. What are your impressions of the art?
I love it.
You do?
Yes, because we just got back from Iceland not too long ago, so it's reminding me of Iceland.
Okay.
So I love it. And I know that you love dwarf characters.
I do love dwarf characters.
So I automatically love it.
So what are you saying? You were looking for dwarves in Iceland?
No, they have elves there.
That's true.
They do.
They do have elves.
Yeah, so not
the hidden people.
Yeah, the hidden people. Yes, but no, it's just that I know that in any type of games or movies or D&D or anything, like you always go for a dwarf character. So
yes.
It just automatically I saw that and it's like, I know that you love the dwarf character. But I love the armor that this dwarf has on. I love the color that they chose. I love the background. I love the mountains in the background. I love the clouds. I love the beard. I love the texture of the beard. I love the everything about it.
I love the eye patch.
I love the eye patch because it's actually the same. No, it's the opposite eye that you're blind on.
Yeah.
Maybe this one. Hey, looking at you pretty normal, huh? No? Ah, fudge. Wait, I know. I'll figure this out.
So, yes, you were 100% correct. When I saw that they were doing this guy, I was like, I am totally in.
Mm-hmm.
I want to play this guy. This guy looks phenomenal. It's kind of a game where you don't see a lot of fantasy type characters. You see a lot of more sort of like realistic with some caveats.
Mm-hmm.
But the dwarf is a Norse mythological being. And they're smiths and they live in mountains and things like that. So it's very much a, not necessarily, it's not like a Lord of the Rings type thing. It's an actual mythology that Scandinavian people actually have and have had and have. So yeah, I think the box looks fantastic. And in this, you get a female and a male.
Even better.
Yeah. So I think that's something that the Flying Frogs do well. Because not only do you get two characters, you get the choice between the two. So and they've got different poses and different styles. And, I think that really speaks volumes to the replayability and the accessibility of the game. Because every hero has the opposite gender, which I think is great. And again, it's fantasy, so you can play whatever you want. If you want to play the female, male, whatever, it doesn't matter. All right.
So that's a Valhalla.
Yeah, Gates of Valhalla.
Gates of Valhalla.
Yes, that's correct. The Gates of Valhalla is the Norse lands, and that's one of the worlds that they have with Vikings and stuff like that. So as the winter storms grow cold and shadows fall over the lands of the north, even the deepest tunnels and mines beneath the mountains begin to fill with nightmare creatures and horrifying demons. Swarms of Grimians clamor and claw into every crevice of the earth, but they have awoken in the mountains. Once thought to be myth and legend, the Norse dwarves have emerged from their underground mines, joining the fight to hold back the encroaching darkness. The Norse Dwarf is a new hero class that can be added to your games of Shadows of Brimstone. Stout and hardy warriors, the mythic Norse dwarves of the mountains are some of the toughest heroes in the world, or any world, really. Always grumbling and groaning about grudges past and present, a dwarf never backs down from a fight. They are ever ready to drop the hammer on their hated foes, and they count many amongst their foes, from the smallest Grimian to the tallest of giants. Yeah, see, this is awesome. Okay, what do we have in the box? All right, so you got a record sheet. This is Dwarf Cave. Let's see, the dwarves.
Do you remember when we were on that Northern Lights tour and that tour guide was playing that song, that Valhalla Calling song?
Yeah.
Over and over and over.
Yeah. Yeah, he was into it.
He was
That's
into
for
it.
sure.
He was into it.
Okay, so the legendary dwarves of the Norse lands are well known for their forging and mining expertise. They have a vast network of underground tunnels and cities stretching across the world and beyond. It's said whenever a dwarf goes on their travels, there will always be a dwarf cave near at hand. Only keyword dwarf heroes may visit the dwarf cave. All items sold here have a dwarf heroes only restriction. Oh, well now that's interesting. So this is a place that only a dwarf hero can visit. Okay, well that's kind of interesting because in the main game you have towns, and then you have specific types of towns like mining towns and ghost towns and things like that. So this is a place that only a dwarf character can visit. It's interesting. All right, so you get your starting cards here. Your different abilities you can start with. You got a battle master ability, a forge smith ability, a delving ability, and then their starting gear is a mythic hammer, runic silver, and a miner's sack. And
these are small.
These are very small pieces.
Small pieces.
Yeah, I was noticing that.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see if we can get it into focus. Is that focused?
Kind of. Yeah.
And then,
like, these are tiny pieces.
yes, these are very tiny pieces, but you just got to be careful when you're snapping them off the sprue that you don't lose them, because I do that quite often.
Very often. And then you have to call me to come.
So aggravating, yes. All right, so the Norse Dwarf, this is their upgrade sheet. So when you gain a level, you'll roll 2d6 on this, gain an ability here, and then you get to pick from one of the abilities up here.
There is somebody on Instagram that I follow that sews clothing that looks just like that.
Really?
Yeah. That's just, I just saw that picture and it reminded me of that.
All right, so what you get in here is the Dwarf Cave. You get the new hero, the Norse Dwarf. You get the Dwarf Cave is a new location that can be visited by a Dwarf hero, right? You get side bag tokens. You get some flash powder tokens there. And then you get bomb tokens. And then you get the starting gear and the starting abilities that you can choose one of. And let's take a look at the, there's two bases for your miniatures, which is great because you have two miniatures. Let's take a look at their ability card. All right, so their agility is a 1, the cunning is a 3, the spirit is a 2, the strength is a 4, the lore is a 3, the luck is a 2, and the initiative is 2. Their keywords are Norse, Dwarf, Otherworld, and Myth.
Wait, why do they have keywords?
So keywords have to do with items and events and things like that you interact with. So like the Old West, for example, has keyword law. So when you go to the sheriff's office in the town in the Old West version of the game, if you're a law character, if you have a keyword law, you can buy some of the things and do some of the things in the sheriff's office that nobody else can do, right? So you get keywords like this to understand what you can and can't do in some places.
So somebody just walks in and says law and then they do something?
Well, no, it's their keyword, right? So it's just attached. They don't say anything. It's just as though like a law character is like a lawman or a ranger or a sheriff, somebody like that. So that character...
It's not a safe word.
It's not a safe word, no.
The safety word is banana.
I love you.
It's not okay.
No, it's not, you don't... No, it's not a password. It's not a safe word.
Okay,
it's just
a keyword. Okay.
It's a keyword. So it's like, it's just a part of what your character is.
Okay.
That's what it means. So like it says on this, for example, the Dwarf Cave, only keyword dwarf heroes may visit the Dwarf Cave. So in this world, you've got Vikings. Well, none of them are dwarves, so they would not be welcome in this Dwarf Cave. And it's a Dwarf Cave is obviously run by dwarves, so they're not going to let just anybody come in there. They're going to, you're going to, ID you for your dwarfness.
Okay.
So it's just a rule in the game
Okay.
to limit what you can and can't buy, because you don't want you kind of lose the uniqueness of your characters if anybody can do anything.
Mm-hmm.
You know, why would you even have character classes or different? You know,
Well, you still have to have reality.
You do.
Okay.
You do. And so I think that's why, you know, so if I were to walk into like the sheriff's office and I wanted to interrogate a prisoner, well, I think you can do that. But what if I wanted to get a deputy badge? I couldn't do that because I'm not a deputy.
Mm-hmm.
But if you are a lawman, you could get one of those.
Okay.
So
that makes sense.
Yeah. So there is obviously a lot to this, even though it doesn't look like a ton of stuff. The upgrade charts are where your characters start to stand apart.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, you get these different abilities, and you have to choose one of these abilities, right? And that's all you can choose for the rest of the game for your character. So, like, I don't want to read them all off, but say you chose Battle Master, okay? Whenever you kill an enemy with a combat hit, you gain +1 combat for this attack and may move into their space, ignoring escape tests. Enemies may not move through into your space, even if normally allowed to move through other models. All right, so that makes your character very much a fighting kind of character that bad guys can't move through. And then once you kill something, you can move up to their space and kill something again. It's very fighty. It's very cool. Like I said, I didn't want to go through all of these, but like this one, Delving, gives you an extra starting gear, which would be this miner sack. So this guy on his card only starts with the mythic hammer and runic silver, but if you choose to do the delving, you also get a miner sack, which says whenever you gain gold from a loot or scavenge card, gain 100 extra gold. This sack may hold any amount of gold and up to 12 darkstone. Gold and darkstone here is hidden, i.e. may be ignored for all game effects and does not cause corruption. That is great. So another thing you start with is this runic silver, armor 5 up. When a growing dread or darkness card is drawn, recover a grit on a roll of d6 of 4 up. And then finally you have this mythic hammer. Use the d8 for damage. Whenever you roll a natural 7 or 8 for damage on a combat hit, every other enemy adjacent to the target also takes d3 wounds, ignoring defense. That is great. And it's got 4 upgrade slots. That's really strong. His abilities normally are Expert Scavenger. When scavenging, you draw 2 scavenge cards for each 6 rolled. Hardy Warrior. Once per turn, you may add +1 to hit rolls. You also have Endurance 3. You take no more than 3 wounds from a single hit after armor. Stout and Stingy. You are -1 move to a minimum of 1. You may not give or receive gold or darkstone shards to other heroes except other dwarf heroes. Your to hit rolls are range 4, melee 4. You've got 2 combat dice, and your max grit is 2. Your health is a 12 with a defense of 3 up, and your sanity is an 8 with a defense of 4 up. So you're more likely to go insane than you are to die from your wounds.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So it's just the lower the number, the worse it is. And then the flip side is the same, except you've got the portrait of the female Norse Dwarf. And then for the upgrade charts, the way this works is once you hit level 2 or level 1, you get to choose one of these on the top. And then these columns basically go down like this. So once you hit the next level, you can either choose another, let's say you chose mining keen eye, right? So on the next level, you can either do the next one down in this column, or you can choose another one up here, right? So that's how it goes. So once you hit level 4 or 5 or whatever it is, you can go all the way down here as long as you stayed in that column. So, and that's how you make your character more unique as the game goes on and more powerful. So that pretty much explains everything about this character at a high level.
A high level.
They seem really good, really strong. My impression is that I really want to get these painted and play with these guys. So what is your impression of the Norse Dwarf?
Well, you've always told me how strong and how you've always told me how much you like dwarves. So
Yeah.
I don't see, like my opinion hasn't changed at all.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, so let's give you a hypothetical situation.
All right, give me a hypothetical
All
situation.
right. So let's say you're in a house
Mm-hmm.
and you have a vacancy. You have 7 extra rooms, but they're very small rooms.
Very small rooms.
Would you rent out those 7 extra rooms to
this?
Norse dwarves?
Absolutely.
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 All right.
You know, dwarves don't look short to me in these.
No, they're not. So a lot of times, it's the proportions of dwarves that can be wrong. I would say they can be in a fantasy setting or anything like this. You've just got to think of them as a condensed version of a human.
Yeah.
So their proportions are correct for their size.
Yeah.
So there's no abnormalities in regards to longer limbs or shorter limbs or things like that. It's all proportioned to their actual size. Now, dwarves tend to be stockier, they're thicker, but they're like, say, a normal human's arm and hand is going to come down mid-thigh. Mm-hmm. It's going to be the same for a dwarf.
It's going to be the same for the dwarf.
Right. So it should be portrayed like that. It should be portrayed
like in all the paintings and pictures and everything I've seen in books, and like they don't appear to be any.
Right. It's not a human with dwarfism. It is a dwarf, which is a mythical creature, which is made up. So it's not. Yes, this is the correct way to portray this.
Okay.
Fictional character, fictional race. So yeah, I mean it makes sense, and that's why, like for instance, in the movies with The Hobbit, you would see these guys were like average sized human beings, but the way that they did it with the special effects is it just made it look like they were smaller than the humans in the movies. And that's realistically how it would be if this were a real world thing. So yeah, I think it looks better.
Well, if not being Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, being Sandra renting out my house to 7 like dwarves, like Norse dwarf men, I would probably be the most protected person.
Oh, absolutely. And you would be hit on by 7 Norse
if
dwarf
it looked
men.
anything like the dwarf in The Hobbit.
Yeah.
I would be okay with it because I really liked that. What was it? The guy that got really greedy with the gold?
Thorin.
Oh, I would be fine with that.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's great.
I'd be fine with
That's
that.
great.
So yeah, we'll just say if I rented out my room to Thorin and some of his team, let's just say I did that. I'd be fine with it.
All right. You'd be fine with that. Even if they, maybe they weren't the tidiest and maybe they didn't always have the rent on time.
Well, I'm just concerned about Thorin right now. So we'll be fine with that.
Okay. But he's not the only person. He's not the only dwarf.
You asked me if I would rent it out to 7.
Yeah, but you went ahead and said you would do it and you didn't check any of their references. You just sight unseen took your 7 extra bedrooms and just let these guys crash here. You didn't give them any kind of contract to sign or anything.
Are we like doing an Airbnb?
Well, now you are. And you're very careless.
I might not do it because.
Oh no, it's already done. You've already agreed. This is a verbal contract.
Because they're very, very reckless.
Yeah.
Very reckless.
And they just invite.
Now I'm not doing it.
Strange. Oh no,
I'm not doing it.
Now you're going to small claims court.
Now I'm not doing it.
Now you're going to small.
I changed my mind.
Discriminatory is what this is.
I don't want to because they're very reckless.
Okay. Now when reality hits,
they're very reckless.
Yeah. Okay. But you like the bad boys.
I was going to say that I was going to be very well protected, and now I'm going to be very well protected, and they're going to leave a mess.
Yeah.
So I changed my mind.
Okay. Well, then,
I changed my mind. I don't want them anywhere near me.
It's all about perspective, I think.
I don't want them anywhere near me.
I think, okay, you've had a dose of reality. Good. All right. Well, I think that about covers the Norse Dwarf Hero Pack. I think it's awesome. I really enjoyed going over this with you. We really should draw up a contract for any potential Airbnbs to mythical creatures.
Yes.
Just so we can avoid this in the future.
Mm-hmm.
But otherwise, this was great. Thank you for joining us for this video. We had a lot of fun. We hope you did too. Like and subscribe.